Have you ever watched a monarch butterfly drift across a late summer sky and wondered how something so small could seem so sure of where it is going? Maybe you have seen one floating over a garden, crossing a road, or disappearing beyond a line of trees, and never stopped to ask the question hiding in plain sight. How does a creature with a brain smaller than a grain of rice somehow know where Mexico is without ever having been there before? It sounds like the beginning of a fairy tale, but it is one of the most remarkable true stories in nature. Every year, as summer fades into autumn across much of North America, millions of monarch butterflies begin a journey that can stretch for thousands of miles. They leave fields, parks, roadsides, and backyard gardens. They rise into the air and head south. Eventually, many of them arrive in the mountain forests of central Mexico, gathering by the millions on trees that seem to glow orange beneath their wings. The astonishing part is not just the distance. The butterflies making this trip have never seen Mexico before. In fact, most of them have never completed the journey at all, because no single monarch lives long enough to experience the entire annual migration cycle. The butterflies that arrive in Mexico are often several generations removed from the ones that left the previous year. Yet somehow, each autumn, a new generation finds its way to the same region of mountains with extraordinary accuracy. For decades, scientists struggled to understand how this was possible. After all, humans use maps, road signs, satellites, and digital navigation systems. Birds often learn routes from parents or flocks. Whales follow ocean pathways over years of experience. But monarch butterflies receive no migration lessons. Nobody shows them the way, and yet they go. The answer begins with something every one of us sees almost every day: the sun. Researchers discovered that monarch butterflies use what is known as a sun compass. As they fly, they track the position of the sun across the sky, but that alone is not enough. The sun moves throughout the day. If a butterfly simply followed the sun itself, it would drift off course. So monarchs do something far more sophisticated. Inside their bodies is an internal clock. This biological clock helps them understand the time of day. By combining information about the sun's position with information from this internal clock, they can maintain a consistent direction as they travel. Imagine walking through your neighborhood in the morning. The sun is in one part of the sky. By afternoon it has moved, yet you still know which way is south because your brain adjusts for the sun's changing position. Monarch butterflies perform a similar calculation. Despite having brains tiny enough to fit on the tip of a pencil, scientists found evidence for this by carefully altering the butterflies' internal clocks. When the clocks were disrupted, the butterflies became confused and began flying in the wrong direction. Their navigation system depended on both sunlight and timing working together. But even that is not the whole story. What happens on cloudy days? The sky is not always clear during a journey that spans thousands of miles. Researchers discovered that monarchs appear to have another remarkable tool. They can sense Earth's magnetic field. Our planet is surrounded by an invisible magnetic field, stretching from pole to pole. Many migratory animals seem capable of detecting it. Birds use it. Sea turtles use it. Evidence suggests monarch butterflies can use it too, especially when sunlight becomes unreliable. This means a butterfly crossing a cloudy landscape may still possess a hidden sense of direction, guided by forces humans cannot feel without instruments. If that sounds almost unbelievable, consider how many invisible signals surround us every day. Your phone can communicate through radio waves you cannot see. A migrating butterfly may be responding to an equally invisible map written into the fabric of the planet itself. And then there is another mystery: how do they know where to stop? Mexico is a large country. The monarchs are not simply reaching the southern United States and calling it good enough. Many of them concentrate in a relatively small area of mountain forest. Scientists believe this precision comes from a combination of inherited behavior and environmental cues. The butterflies are not navigating toward a specific tree they remember. Instead, they are following deeply encoded instructions shaped by countless generations of evolution. Those instructions guide them toward conditions that help them survive winter. The mountain forests provide cool temperatures, protection from storms, and the right balance of moisture. Butterflies that reached suitable winter habitats in the distant past were more likely to survive and pass on their migratory tendencies. Over many thousands of years, natural selection refined this extraordinary system. The result is a migration route that seems almost miraculous, but is built from countless tiny advantages accumulated across generations. When you think about it, every monarch you see carries an ancient inheritance. A butterfly lifting off from a milkweed patch in your neighborhood is not just reacting to the moment. It is acting on information shaped by ancestors that traveled the same broad pathway long before highways, cities, or even modern humans existed, and the journey itself is far from easy. Monarchs face storms, predators, habitat loss, traffic, and changing weather patterns. Many never reach their destination, yet enough succeed that the migration continues year after year. Sometimes people notice monarchs gathering on flowering plants during migration season. A backyard garden may suddenly host dozens of them. To us, it feels like a beautiful surprise. To the butterflies, it is a critical refueling stop. They drink nectar, build energy reserves, and continue south. In a sense, every patch of wildflowers becomes part of a continent-wide highway. That realization changes how ordinary places look. A roadside meadow is no longer just a patch of weeds. A flowering garden is no longer simply decoration. These places become stepping stones in one of nature's greatest journeys. If you enjoy exploring stories like this and seeing the hidden wonders behind everyday wildlife, consider subscribing to Global Wild Origins. It is a pleasure sharing these quiet mysteries of nature with you, one story at a time. Perhaps the most beautiful part of the monarch migration is what it reveals about life itself. We often imagine intelligence as something that requires planning, language, or conscious thought, yet here is a butterfly weighing less than a paperclip, carrying no map, no teacher, and no memory of the destination, still accomplishing a journey that would challenge many larger animals. Its knowledge exists in a different form. It is written into biology, shaped by time, guided by sunlight, magnetic fields, and instincts refined across countless generations. The next time you see a monarch butterfly floating across a field or passing over your garden fence, you may notice it differently. What looks like a wandering insect is actually a traveler on a mission older than most landscapes around it. Somewhere far to the south, mountain forests wait beneath the Mexican sky. And somehow, against all odds, that butterfly already knows which way to go. Perhaps that is the real wonder. Not that monarch butterflies can find Mexico without a map, but that the natural world is filled with journeys happening all around us, guided by directions we are only beginning to understand.